They were here before by Queen Samuels, chapter 16, Cassia. A quote by D.H. Lawrence, open quote. Perhaps you're a slave to your own idea of yourself, end quote. It is not true what they say, that you can't miss what you never had, because really you can. All these years, I have never allowed myself to have a true friend, not a male friend, heck, not even a female friend. As soon as I meet a guy or see him on the street or on the internet, I start planning our wedding. Therefore, I do not give myself a chance to date, to learn about the man before I fall. And usually I fall pretty hard. Heart first, never the head. Oh, and know the brain is placed on pause. I strictly date for my engagement and the wedding, not even fully taking into consideration life after the wedding. Naturally, after a while, when I hint at marriage, and he would seem shocked and utter the words, I like you, but I am neither ready for a relationship nor marriage. I would be genuinely shocked and heartbroken because I did not allow myself to observe or even see any of that. I would hear and see what I wanted to, regardless. A great way to break your own heart, which I have done on many occasions. But here we are in South Africa, of all the places, among some of the most impoverished, but I have actually started to see much more clearly than I have ever seen my whole life. People who might not have all the luxuries of life, but they know contentment and they know how to love and laugh. Not the fake laugh of the Burgoys, but a big, loud belly laugh. The simplicity of their way is compelling, and their laughter infectious. Mind you, there are those who are filthy rich and make our celebrities look like paupers, but the way of the common folk is so basic. I almost envy their lack of airs and pretenses. Keeping up appearances for the Joneses, who don't even care, is exhausting. It is like the scales have fallen from my eyes, and I am now experiencing a new birth among people with strange customs that I would have never even considered before. They have accurately defined for me what true living is. Since I've been here, my sleep is restful. I walk slower, observing the scenery, and I listen. I actually listen what people have to say instead of just hearing what I want to hear. Essentially, all these years I have been a squatter in my own life, almost someone akin to a doorkeeper, as I have just allowed all and sundry to roam freely in my sphere of existence without setting up appropriate boundaries. That's the other thing, how I have seen South Africans live, how they devour every measly morsel of life. They live in the moment unapologetically. I must admit that I have been stuck in survival mode from as far back as I can remember. Well, really, why wouldn't they luxuriate in every moment of autonomy available to them after being emancipated from the rigid structures entrenched in the system of apartheid? But why wouldn't I as well, seeing that I am the product of slaves? In such a short time, I have met many people from various clans, tribes, villages, towns, cities who all manifest such an unquenchable zest for life. They laugh like they have never cried. They saunter through life with determined strides as if they have never known strife or ever been embraced by the strong arm of oppression. In some villages, people live in huts with little to no personal belongings, not much by way of accoutrements or luxury, but they seem to have found the very essence of life, the very sustenance of the soul. Meanwhile, I personally have been living like I'm still enslaved, still in bonds. I have allowed myself to be a slave to my own perceptions and idiosyncrasies. Therefore, I have not truly learned how to just be me. Both apartheid and slavery are merely disreputable generals from the same army who tried to break the indomitable spirit of the black race. South Africans, however, have proven that their bodies might have been shackled, but not their souls. Obviously, their vitality has not ebbed over the years. Nevertheless, here I am, the descendant of former slaves, people who championed the cause of freedom, who vehemently opposed, even unto death, the ravages of the oppressor, a people whose deliberate crusades effected lasting change. Yet here I am, held captive by my own limitations, my own imagination, all the time forgetting that I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, as Shan keeps reminding us. The fact that I'm here on this continent, the very fact that my presence here is a rebellion against the desires of the oppressors who thought physically repositioning my ancestors would have erased them, would have obliterated their relatedness to the land of their birth. Yet here I am, the very embodiment, the incarnation of a dream believed to be long dead. But in my physical presence, I have returned my ancestors home. After all, they were here before. I must therefore resist the compulsion to sink into the quagmire of despair and rise to the occasion to live my wildest dreams while being authentically me, to steel myself against disillusionment and forge ahead with grace. After all, this is exactly what my ancestors, my people, would have wanted. Ultimately, I'm very privileged to be here, and it is also my right to be here, a right already paid for in blood. Some even gave their lives willingly, so there's no way I'm going to mess this up by living below my privileges. Plus, instead of trying to predict the future or orchestrate future events, I am just going to follow with the natural rhythm of life. I am no longer forcing anything because what is to be will be.